Hello and welcome to the John Knuckles High Tea Boys Takeover episode, Volume 2. Hope the boys are doing well, but I know that they're super busy, so I am subbing in for them. Today, though, we're going to do something a little bit different. So, normally I know the boys love doing their tier list episodes, and everyone loves them, and they're great, but today, that's going in the backseat. We're going to do something a little bit different. So, lately I've been really enjoying the Chrome Boys mentioned. They've been doing their Sonic Wednesday stream, and I've been a Sonic fan in my entire life. And I was thinking, let's generate the perfect Sonic game, because after watching Unleashed, Sonic 06, like all the crazy Sonic games that we've seen before, I think there's a recipe to create the most perfect Sonic game, and we're gonna do that today. So let's go on and explore this journey together. So how do we start this game? We're going to do it a little bit different. Maybe it's my love for Dune, but we're going to start really integrating time travel, alternate dimensions, some really crazy concepts to make the game a little bit more fun. And you'll see why I'm doing that later on. So the first thing we're going to do is we got to start every Sonic game the most basic way that you do. We're going to put Sonic, he's at a water park with all of his friends. They're all hanging out, they're having fun. All of a sudden, like a dimensional rift opens up, and who is it? But it's Gerald Robotnik. So this isn't Eggman. This is his grandfather, the creator of the Ark, if you remember from Sonic Adventure 2, the one who was going to destroy the planet and generated Shadow. So he's here, but it's like a different dimension version of him. So the first level, it's your standard awesome Sonic opening level. So the reason it's in a water park, because then we're going to be like running down the slides. And this is, for a platformer, that's where you got to really make it happen. He's going really fast. You jump in between like one slide to the next slide. And, stupid animals or whatever are chasing him. Like it's like at any basic Sonic game. The most important thing in this level is we need to make sure it has a solid soundtrack. So we're going to make a song that's like Inspirational Dreams. What's a good name of it? Fight, Fight, Win. So the song's called Fight, Fight, Win. It has a crazy guitar solo to start it off. And then it's just like talking about like, you're the man, you're Sonic, you're blue, you're a dog, you're going really fast. Like that's the song that's playing. What I really want to happen in there is there's little notes of City Escape from Sonic Adventure 2, which is the best opening song for any Sonic game, and I'll fight anyone who disagrees with that. So we're gonna have like that going on. So you're running, you're doing it, you beat the level. That's fun. It's great. It's a standard Sonic opening level, not too hard. Gets you used to the movements. There's gonna be some things for later on. You'll get some upgrades, and then you can go like whistle at something or whatever with the Mystic Whistle. But that's how we're gonna do like a standard opening, right? So you're like, oh man, we went so fast to Sonic. What's the next move? We're going into a Shadow level. Shadow, we're in this timeline. Shadow and Sonic are kind of like post SA2, where they're kind of like friends, but they're not like friends, but they get along, right? But guess who's there? It's alternate dimension Shadow appears. So he's going to be exactly like Shadow, but instead of having the red stripe, he has green stripes. And you're like, wow, so different, Gerald. Like, what were you doing? But the other big difference is he has enhanced boosting shoes. So instead of like just, like how Shadow has the rocket shoes that he uses to keep up with Sonic, he has even faster shoes. One of the cool things he's going to do in this like opening sequence is he's like, oh, I need to kick these things into sport mode. And then he kind of flips them back like you do with Crocs. So that level's going to be very similar to in SA2, where you do the race with Sonic and Shadow. You do like both sides of it. You kind of like running after each other and hitting into each other, right? So that's 2 back-to-back fast levels. Perfect Sonic gameplay. You're going fast. You're being edgy with Shadow. You're like conflicted because you have to fight yourself. Like, man, am I strong enough to do this? And then you're like, well, he's me. And then, they hit you. Just hit A lot. You're just going to double jump and attack the other person. That's really how this game really boils down to. And then after you beat him, our version Shadow goes into the alternate dimension Shadow world. And who's there? but Maria is still alive in this dimension. She helped Shadow get the sweet nude to like her big thing is she really went into like not astrophysics, but she's really into like sports science. And she's actually the one who created the sport mode Croc shoes for alternate dimension shadows. But we're gonna like in classic modern Sonic fashion. You just did two really cool fast levels about going fast and like really high speed. The gameplay is really tight. What are we gonna do? We're gonna put the narrative to a screeching halt. It's actually a dating simulator. You have to impress the alternate dimension Maria. A few years has passed, so her and Shadow are both the same age and they're older now, so it's all chill. And now you have to like I don't know. I think Shadow has a lot of like inability to talk to women because he's like really focused on his guns and going fast. So like now you have to be like Shadow, like you got to figure out what she's into and listen. And he's too busy like stewing and brooding. You know, that's always an option. Like you know how like when you get dialogue in game and you just like you're playing the zero charisma character and you just like say nothing and just grunt. Like that's what Shadow will always have that option. But you got to get Maria back on your side to be like, listen, if you don't know much about Sonic lore, like one of the big defining features of Shadow is the death of Maria. So like that has a huge impact on him and like why he wants his revenge. But I feel like the alternate dimension Shadow has gone. He's like a continuation of Gerald's game, right? He's continuing to play along with Gerald and really like believe in himself and his mission of being the ultimate life form. So it's gonna be, you know, we're really gonna be exploring some heavy themes. So like while we're doing the dating simulator, you're really gonna be talking about like what's the meaning in life and what's super perfect, you know, like all that. But like while we're doing that, you're like, screw it. We're gonna do a narrative game, but like we're gonna rip the cord on that, and we're back at the beach. So we went from the water park to the beach, and now you're gonna play as Knuckles, and like the world's about to get like really fucked up. But Knuckles is like, dude, guys, we signed up for the volleyball game. We gotta play. So you gotta play the Knuckles mini game where you know you're playing a game of volleyball because he's gonna like punch the ball and like spike it. And then you know that's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be very awkward. We're gonna make sure you can't see anything with the camera. It's gonna be like angled directly up into the sun, so every time the ball comes over, you just get like blinded by the light and you can't see anything. So yeah, that's the Knuckles levels. And there's just gonna be a random beep in there from time to time, just for a shout out to the best Knuckles level. Naturally, the most important things with Knuckles levels, we're gonna be doing like an early 2000s Lupe Fiasco style hip hop song over it. So that will be happening. So that's gonna be going on while you're doing the volleyball mini game. The most important thing that's going to happen though at the mini game is if you get first place, what do you get rewarded with? You get a Chow key, because that's right. We're bringing Chow Gardens back, because if this is actually the perfect Sonic game, it doesn't matter what you do. We want the Chow Garden back. So what we're going to do for this one though is we're going to go to the guy who keeps doing all the Chow World extended mods. I don't know if you've ever looked into SA2 modding, but this guy just has made like 5 million different mods and has really made the Chow Garden really cool. So he's going to be in charge of it. Like we're gonna enhance it, but we don't want to go too far, because like I think the idea of how Chow work within the game really is perfect. Like I mean the reason they stopped doing it, if we're gonna be real for a second, the reason they don't like it is they feel like the Chow Garden was hurting the pace of the game. But then they go and make those werewolf Sonic levels, which fuck it up worse than any other pace of the game. So you know, I think we're gonna bring them back, and this is where like now I don't care about what happens in the rest of the game. The story doesn't matter. I'm now just going back to the water park level. I'm gonna get my animals and chaos drives and just feed them to my dudes. and there's going to be there's no longer just going to be heaven and hell and neutral garden. Now there's this. I think we should do an elemental theme. Because I think that would be really fun because you could tie the elements to the different characteristics, right? Because you could do water and that's swim, and then like fire, power. So, you get what I'm saying. You can fill in the rest in your mind. So that might be like the way we do it, and it would be very similar to the Joel races. I realize that this isn't really funny right now. I'm just actually really talking about how much I love the Chow Garden and, and the racing there in that system. So it's coming back. And honestly, I think I should be in charge of making the Sonic games just because I'm saying to bring this back. Because I don't think there's anyone who talks about like Sonic after Sonic Adventure 2 and the lack of them ever bringing that back. Like, that's been, what, 23 years, 24 years, it's something like that, since they've actually brought the Chow Garden back. So we're bringing it back, and that's going to be a mainstay of it. So you did a great job. You've won you won the volleyball tournament. So our momentum of our game is completely destroyed. You went from 2 fast levels to a dating simulator to a volleyball game. So we need to get that back in. So we got to figure out how we're going to get to the alternate reality with Sonic. So he's going to start chasing after our current timeline, Eggman, because he thinks he's probably involved. I mean, that kind of makes sense, right? Because he's always up to something, and this is his grandfather from an alternative dimension. As I'm like talking, I didn't write any of this down. I spent most of tonight when I was standing alone in the lines thinking about this, and I didn't get this far. I'm about like where I'm kind of tapped out of my ideas, but I actually had something really cool pop in my head. So we're going to explore that idea later. So Sonic is going to go and start messing around with our current timeline, Eggman. And during their like initial battle, because I don't know, Eggman's like free. We'll make him free. I don't know where he's. The Sonic timeline's freaking confusing. Like, I have no idea where anyone ever is. So he's free. Sonic's gonna mess him up, and who appears but alternative dimension Shadow. And Eggman's really impressed with the capabilities of these, the Croc sport mode things. And he's going to have some other things. He's going to, I don't know, maybe he's like the green, like he can force energy out of it and shoot like a laser that cuts things, So he's like the super Shadow. So he blips back into his timeline, right? So Eggman is starting to try, he figures it out, and he's like, I built this rocket, or I built this machine to go to the other timeline. So he's Eggman's flying in one of his machines, and you play as Sonic, and you're chasing him, and you're trying to get everyone through the portal together. So the level ends by having Sonic and Eggman go through the portal, and they're in the alternative reality world where they run into Gerald Robotnik, and this is kind of like where Gerald gets to do his I'm the big bad villain. He's he does his screed. He's the world hated me. I saw that my alternative dimension, or my current dimension, this is where it gets really confusing, because he's dead, he failed. He's like, I saw the failure of your timelines, Gerald. I'm coming to finish his mission. So he's gonna he's basically I'm coming to your timeline to win, and my Shadow's gonna keep doing that. So in this world, since Gerald stayed alive, Sonic's going to be I'm going to stop you. And he's going to start exploring. Because the twist on this one is because Gerald survived and was really really evil, keeps doing his thing. Evo Robotnik, so Eggman in this alternative dimension, is actually good. He has been really focusing on like sustainability. He's like trying to make the earth a better place just because his grandfather's so evil. Since he, it's like the continuation, right? It's like, I see how bad my grandfather is, so I'm gonna do everything I can to make the world better. So, Sonic ends up, how are we gonna have him run into him? Like, that's a really good question. Like, you don't just be like, hey, I'm here. All right, how about we do this? Because we can make a cool level out of this. We say, like, Sonic gets a tip that he needs to go and find Eggman. He can help him get back to his reality and save it. But he's been doing he's doing like an underground mining thing. And it's obviously it's a Sonic game. We're gonna have to go either in the jungle or in a pyramid or in the desert. So let's do jungle. It's gonna be like a jungle level where you're kind of going into the earth. So basically, this is gonna be a ripoff of, is it White Jungle? Is that the name of the Sonic Adventure 2 one? But yeah, let's go ahead and have him like go there, and he's gonna run into Robotnik, and they're gonna be like, he's gonna be like, wow, you're a cool dude. Like, how do you go so fast? I'd like to study you. He's like, dude, I'm like the fastest dog ever. Like, oh, here's the twist. All right, Robotnik, Eggman, and the alternative dimension is really into chili dogs as well. So like they bond over it. He's like, oh yeah, I'm having a chili dog for lunch. Let's have one and be friends. So like they're cool. Here's the twist: in that dating simulator and dialogue thing that you had to do for Maria with Shadow, guess what? It's back, and like you get to see all the dialogue options, and you have to befriend Eggman. We're making it very clear though. This is just friendship. This is not Sonic dating alternative reality Eggman. At the same time that Eggman and Sonic are reconnecting, he gets a letter from Maria saying that, like because they're cousins, right? So it would be her grandfather as well. Gerald is getting too wild, and she can no longer support working with him, and really enlists alternative dimension Eggman's help. So now we have Sonic, Shadow, Maria, alternative reality Eggman. They're all gonna like team up, and then now the cool songs are gonna start, and they're gonna be like, dun, 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 dun. I don't know. I'm way too tired to generate a song. And also, I just realized that, like, rather than actually anything funny happening in this episode, I'm just actually talking about like I'm actually feeling like I'm putting a serious, like I kind of started this as a joke. I was like, oh, it'd be funny you do the dating simulator, but I feel like this is actually turning into a pretty cool story. So now they're all teaming up, and what we need to do, because what's going to end up happening, because this is a true Sonic game, is we need Gerald to find his way to Robotnik in our timeline. So let's here's the real question, and this is going to be open-ended. So this is your comment below and engage with the podcast. Do we like Eggman levels where he's in the turret thing, where he's running around and shooting? Or do we like him when he yells "Gauche" and he jumps around? What I'm thinking for this one is we lean on him in the turret, but let's get him like different styles. So like let's just have the guy who does like all the Armored Core games. Like let's make Eggman have multiple levels and really have a cool storyline, but like we're just gonna throw an RPG element into the game where you're basically like running running a shop, and you're like, welcome, I need enough RAM so that my legs know to move when I'm telling them to move. So you're gonna go ahead and make sure that you got the Eggman levels going down. So like Eggman wants to put new thrusters on his sweet new Armored Core thing. So what does he end up doing? He starts like looking for new fuel types. Right? He's really into like upgrades, and so he's like running around in this thing, and he's seeing all this like I don't know. When he's looking for new fuel types, maybe he sees like we'll call it like an energy field or something, like something that like an anomaly. He's like, wow, I'm seeing a weird anomaly over here, and that's where he's gonna run into alternative dimension shadow, and then they're gonna like he's gonna be like, oh, I'm working with Gerald. So then that's their key. That's how those two get together and they really start working together. So now we got the bad guys together, we got the good guys together. They're all devising their plan. This is the hard part on it is like, okay, now we just need a couple like levels that move the storylines along. So we're not going to go back to Knuckles. He's just gonna we're just gonna keep like panning back to Knuckles and Tails, and they're just like on vacation. Like they're not really doing anything too crazy. Amy's not going to be in this game. I'm sorry for all the Amy heads, but she's out. Rouge the Bat is in the game, but she's not a playable character. She's just gonna be in like random cutscenes, like doing. She's gonna do her own thing. Everyone's gonna be excited to see her on screen, but she's not gonna actually do anything that's revolving in the story. It's just gonna be random cutaways like Rouge is going shopping and she's trying on new outfits, and we all like that. And and then the scene ends, and then we're back to what's going on with our story. So, listen, this is my perfect Sonic game. Like I don't know. I don't want to play the crappy beeping levels with her, and I don't know. I don't really like her skill set to like develop an actual fun game. I was kind of thinking about this with Tails because I was it's like kind of like how Rouge the Bat plays, where I was thinking that like Tails doesn't get utilized in his natural form, where he like does the thing where he jumps up and he spins his tail like in the old 2D games. So we could like lean on it, but like once again, going back to Rouge the Bat, like is that really going to be exciting gameplay? I don't think so. So we're gonna just keep showing the screenshot, just keep playing the little. We're gonna play I almost just said FMVs, but that's not what I'm looking for. Is it like active time events? It'll be like the Final Fantasy IX things. The three people that know what I'm talking about understand what I'm saying, but everyone else is probably really confused. Anyways, going back to the story. So we have Robotnik together with Gerald from the alternate dimension with Hyper out Shadow. We got all the other dudes in there. We have Maria, we have Sonic, Good. We're just gonna kind of call him Good Robotnik. So we have Good Robotnik. So Sonic, Shadow, Maria, Good Robotnik. So that's a pretty good team. I like those four hanging out. So with all these powers, we're gonna see. Rather than doing like an arc thing again, because I feel like that would be really boring. Gerald has it's almost like a UFO. Like it's like what I really want to create for it is it's a ship that can go. Can I just say that I want to steal the Dune idea? Like it's basically he's like a guild navigator. He's got this giant ship that's able to travel very fast. But the twist is because of all this time travel thing, it can also go through like different dimensions. So that's like the big thing. Like they're prepping. I think in Sonic games we don't need to have like this really crazy overarching idea. Like basically he's gonna like find an alternate dimension where he's the ruler of the world. Like that's where he's gonna go and do it. So like Sonic needs to go and stop it. So they're gonna have like the ship. They need. We're gonna do the Avatar. It's gonna be like there's unobtainium, and like he needs to go get it, and Sonic and them need to stop him before they acquire the last of the things they need to put the spaceship together, so that he can go to this dimension. So we're gonna have a lot of levels where it's Sonic Sonic in like not an airport, but kind of like a hangar, right? He's running through it, and at the same time, like the standard Sonic bad guys are shooting at him, and he's running there. Sonic or Shadow has his gun again, so we're just gonna like we're gonna do like a Sonic level, and then it's gonna like hard cut to a Shadow level, but it's gonna play like a first person shooter. It's just gonna be one level where you do it, and you're just like running through, and you're just like pow 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 pow, and you're playing with your gun, and but it's gonna control not like that Shadow game because that's terrible. This is gonna be the best design level, the Shadow first person shooter level. Like we're gonna actually make like a really solid. Like I want the people who do like see Counter Strike like 1.6, like they're gonna come back and they're gonna develop specifically like this level. I really want it to be like, I want the recoil. Like we're gonna do very. Honestly, you're gonna have to buy a Time Crisis thing. You're gonna have to buy a Time Crisis cabinet to get the full version of playing this game. So, yeah, the Sonic John Knuckles edition has a Time Crisis Shadow the Hedgehog gun level. So, I think this game is totally feasible. So like, we can make this actually. This is kind of like a cool idea. Is do you remember like those old arcade games where like one person would be driving and the other person would be shooting? The level is like you need to back up Sonic as he's trying to he's like, we need to get close, but there's too many of them. So like Shadow's shooting while Sonic's like running really fast. So like it's like your health really doesn't matter. It's more about like if you don't kill too many of the enemies, like Sonic gets overwhelmed and he gets killed. So that's like the cool thing. Like we're gonna do that. I feel like this is gonna the main story is gonna conclude very nicely because we're gonna have the showdown. But like the big thing on the showdown is the fact that alternative reality Shadow is gonna kind of be convinced. He's gonna tell him about like his Maria, like our version Shadow is gonna tell him about his Maria, and like how they like, I don't know, how her loss motivated him. So then Shadow's gonna Shadow's gonna alternate, so it's gonna be Sonic and two Shadows, and all of a sudden who's gonna appear but Sonic. So now there's four, right? There's gonna do, and we're gonna do the super golden move. But so ours turn gold, and theirs turn like it's gonna be like an emerald color because Sonic in this dimension is green. He's green. He's a green guy now. So Sonic's green. And so like those two team up, and Joe's gonna be like, this is too far, and his spaceship's gonna turn into like a tarantula, and you have to fight the tarantula, and it's gonna be great. And and then you win, and the game's over. I think I was kind of joking around with it, but this actually turned into like my actual pitch on what I would do to make a cool Sonic game. So the story's there, but like in true Sonic fashion, we just need to make sure that every time the game's moving quickly and the pacing's really fun, we got a hard cut to story. We need a hard cut to dating simulators. We need a hard cut. We're just gonna have we're gonna keep cutting. We're just gonna keep going back to to Knuckles at his volleyball tournament. Like, make sure that the stakes are very jarringly different. It's like, you're trying to save the world with Sonic and his crew, and and Knuckles and the boys are like, oh, crap. Like if we don't win if we don't win enough winnings from the volleyball tournament, we can't buy a new pool table for the beach house. Like it's going to be completely jarring on the two different worlds. So Sonic, it's a perfect game. Blue Dog, honestly, I don't care about the real game. all I'm gonna do is play the water park level so I can get enough like buffs for my Chow. We're gonna be chilling in a really cool complex Chow garden. It's gonna be a great time. I think I think honestly what the modern Sonic people need to do is just look at Sonic Adventure 2. I don't think there's really too many people besides like the annoying like 2D Sonic purists that agree that like it really was the best when it comes to uh, not just the gameplay, because I feel like a lot of Sonic games are good, but they just you kind of play them once and unless you're like into speed running or like a time trial type of person, you don't really have a lot of reason to go back. I know that they did like the different game modes within it to try to make it replayable, but the Chow Garden really did drive the replayability. Like, if there was no Chow Garden, I don't think anyone would talk about Sonic Adventure 2 the way that they did. I know that the storyline is super fun. It's like, it's a great thing, but I don't think people would keep coming back to it the way that they do. So that's really honestly, I don't care what happens in the game. I just want the Chow Garden back. So this is my official plea to Sega: bring back the Chow Garden. And this is my plea to all you guys. Like, let's just like play really cool video games. Like, let's shoot for the moon. Let's live in a world where like weird creative ideas continue to flow. Like, do we need a time crisis game in the middle of our Sonic? No. But that would be really cool. That'd be really cool. Honestly, I'm just trying to steal the ideas from all the games to make the perfect Sonic game. So, I don't know, this is just a little fun idea that I had on like what could we do? Something that's a little different. I didn't feel like making a tier list tonight. I just kind of started speaking off the dome a little bit on it, and I think this would be a fun game, and I think everyone would enjoy it. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you all have a good time, and I hope life's good for y'all. I hope everything's great. Comment down below. What are you really pumped for? What would you really like to see in a Sonic game? What would you like to? What other series would you like to just like? Let's go back and re-examine it, because there's some really cool game series that we haven't seen in years. I know we're all big into Gex, so maybe you want to bring back Gex. I'm trying to think on what we talked on we talked on Armored Core a little bit, having the Armored Core Robotnik levels. I'd like to see there's a game series called Future Cop LAPD. I'd like that to come back, so that's my sign off on that. So, yeah, no, that would be a really cool time. So I appreciate y'all listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this takeover episode and a little bit of, I don't know, it's me ranting in a hotel room. So it's getting late. I need to get to bed. But I appreciate y'all. Have a good one.